we fix to pull the manifold here for this direct injection right here. You need a tool like this right here to get that off. Yeah.
Simple little disconnect. You can get a whole pack of them at AutoZone. Sometimes it works a little easier when the customer allows the vehicle to cool down.
I done burnt myself 4 or 5 times. IMRCs right here. 2.
Got one back here. It's just my fingers.
There we go. And there it is. Man, that's dirty in there. There's a squirrel nest in there or something. Let's disconnect those knock sensors.
No, you don't want to do that.
At least they got padding on them. My 16 didn't have that.
Always just kind of tuck these up out of the way. You know, before you put the intake back on, to make sure and look down in there and that you didn't, or somebody didn't walk by and think it'd be funny to drop something down off in your head.
Yeah. Gotta do a little prep work here, clean it up, tie up the IMRC because we won't be using them no more. Look things over, want to try to clean that gun away out if we can. If we can't, they get blowed out with that intake being so high anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
The simple fact, as soon as you hit these with brake clean, they swell, and then that's how you'll cut them, putting them back on.
Make sure your O-rings come out with your injectors.
Yeah, you can take air and blow them off or something like that, but don't use brake clean. They swell them, and then you'll fight getting them back on. Just a little air, rag, make sure there's nothing in here, and you'll be good. Make sure there's no little tears on them or anything.
Yeah, because we do, they'll be leaking.
Junk. No. Best intake ever.
Ported.
Actually, you're
Nice thing to convert everything over. Don't leave home without it. Zip tie. These right here just snap in there. Just push them down. Both sides.
okay, baby. I love you. Love you.
Look, there's the difference. Fat end goes on the left if you're looking at it. The scrawny one goes on the right. That's for your oil separator.
But if you'll realize, there's absolutely no way to get them mixed up.
Oh, well, yeah. I think about blocking that one off anyways.
You don't have it?
Yeah, I mean, I got a UPR catch can, but if it don't work, we'll just block it off. You don't have to have it, but then you have to run a filter.
Yep.
You know, if I would know with my car.
Yep. I just kind of like to stick everything in. That way I know I got all my bolts. That way I don't get putting it together and be like, what am I missing?
Fuel rail.
What?
Everything checked out good on it?
I will when I go over here. I just want to.
Let's see.
I gotta get mine over here.
Let me hold it up.
No. Oh, let me take these out.
See, I watched some people was talking about cutting that tab
Right.
right there. We may not have to. I don't know.
May have to put a wiener schnitzel in it.
Yeah. Well, it really ain't gonna benefit us to cut it anyways because that one's welded on back there.
Exactly.
Right here. You can't cut that.
Nope, you can't cut any of them. I just have to, well, what I have to do is install the injectors in the intake, Mine was a little different. I had different fuel rails and stuff on mine, but it's no big deal.
So I take the injectors off, put the fuel rail on, and put the injector back on.
Put the little clips here. You just push them with your thumb. It's gentle. No big deal. Most time the O-rings will stay on there.
These are stock injectors also.
Get a little E85 on the customer's axles. Ain't gonna hurt anything.
Let me get a drink. Let me get a drink of that.
Yeah. Should have probably emptied those.
Oh, that's liquid gold.
Well.
So when you do this all the time, it don't take long at all.
Is these customer dropped those off? I don't know who makes those. They don't have a name on them. I don't think
they're some beefy axles.
Well, I think they're GT350s.
They're pretty beefy, ain't they? Huh?
And always make sure not dump E85 in your shoe. All right. Get a rag.
What you doing to that car? T56 swap? Something?
I'm actually doing oil pump gears, drag pack, and going to do a nitrous install.
Oh, I know whose car that is now. I know whose car that is now.
Yeah, that's Brian's.
I thought it was Ben's at first.
No, Ben's is over there apart. That's kind of the way it stays.
The ends of them look clean.
That's why I'm wiping them off. I was kind of knock the grit and the grime off. And
What'd you spray, some PB Blaster on?
I just wet the rag with it. I didn't actually spray it in the injector, of course. And
Yeah.
it just kind of, it beats spitting on them.
Spit shine.
And, you know.
It'd be a whole lot easier to get to these injectors than it was at 18. I burnt myself into how many times on that. I let it cool off a good 30 minutes before I started working.
Yeah, cars hold heat. Cars hold heat.
You know what we ought to do? Before we get ready to make a pass, get a nitrous bottle and spray the whole front intercooler with it. I seen them little Ricer cars do it. That's what they do. They get their temperatures down.
This is where we're going to have an issue, I see.
Yeah.
Now this is perfect. I'm glad this issue came up. Using a stock injector, which is a tall injector, this is where we come into a problem where when you do one of these, and I didn't think about it, and I was telling Nickel the other day that I had shorty injectors, and so I had to cut my aluminum stock down in order to make these work properly. And by cutting the stock down, it fits here, and then of course, you know, it'll be to the bottom down here, and then they would set right. So now
You cut these down?
Cut them down
Them
in order to
spacers?
get and to get the height that I need. So I got to rethink myself.
To be continued. What we did, what Nikki did, I didn't do it, is you can't do nothing with that tab, no matter what. But this tab right here, we took and cut it.
Yep.
That's all we did. And then when you put it on there, that goes from being on top to being in front of that one.
Yeah,
And then
it's still kind of hot because I just did it.
and we cut that one also.
And believe it or not, this is the first one I've had to do that. Good.
Yeah. That's why it pays to do your research. Because I watched them tell how many videos of people doing installs, and I think I may see one or two that even talked about cutting that.
Well, honestly,
I just wonder
if you ran a short injector, you would have to cut the aluminum stock and it would set it down and you wouldn't have that issue.
Yeah.
I didn't have that issue. Now, granted, I was a 17, but I didn't have that issue.
Yeah. follow-up, once we get it installed, I'll keep a check on my knock, on my engage, on my knock sensor on my engage to make sure that doesn't cause false knock. If it does, we'll either have to come back and do something about it or desensitize the knock sensors. One or the other.
Well, how big a...
All right, this is a must change. It's on the driver's side. It's underneath this rag right here. Clamp off your hoses right there and right there. This one comes off right there. This one comes off on top. What is it, like a 10 millimeter? Something like that?
These right here for it's a 5/16.
5/16. Pulling that off, swapped it out.
We just made sure to try to get the excess water by clamping that. They make these line clamps, so it's just designed to clamp the hoses off, and it doesn't cut them, and they work great.
He puts on everything.
All right, due to the fuel line being kind of in a weird kind of little bind up there, I always apply a little pressure on starting your rear bolts first on your fuel lines. That's just a personal preference. And as you're going down, just, I mean, you see I'm just barely using any fingers. I'm double checking, making sure my injectors spin freely, that I don't have an O-ring pinched or in a bind or anything like that. There's nothing you want to rush on. And, you can kind of feel your finger where it's at. Kind of give it, I mean, I'm literally giving it a baby snug. I do not have any of the other intake bolts in. I just do these to hold it in place. Simple snug like that. And that way, then I can go ahead and put my other bolts in and then start torquing it down exactly how it's specified to torque the bolts.
A couple of uggos.
No, you know, I kind of start in the middle, you know, and then I work my way a X pattern, and then I come back and check my fuel line bolts, and then I come back and check them again. And believe it or not, being rubber O-rings, you do not have to tighten them down like you would the old school. It's just lightly snug them, and that's it.
Cool.
Route their lines. Everybody routes them a little different. So what I done was kept the metal line that runs off the brake booster. It's clean, it's neat. They already send you the bolts that goes with it.
Brett Barber does.
Yeah, take the hose that would originally been running all underneath, cut it down, run it right into the side of the intake. Now here's for your evap. It literally comes up here. You shorten the nipple
Yeah, we cut
a quarter of an inch, and it slides right on, click, and done. Now then you come over here. If you have a catch can, it'll just go in. You can replace your catch can here and then go there. If not, your normal line will route around and click right on.
Or you can block it off.
Or you could even block it off and put your round filters if you wanted to do it that way. Everybody tends to do it a little different.
Yeah, and then we hooked up the connector down here for the throttle body. Hey guys, really didn't get to do a watt pull with the new setup. Traffic was too bad on the way home, even though it was an hour drive. But anyways, I still had to do a few things when I got home anyways to the car to be 100%. Got that knocked out, checked everything, drove it around today so far. Temperature done got like at 90 degrees out here. So anyways, maybe I can get a good cool night with a draggy run. I ain't tried my draggy out in a while. It's been in the car. I just hope I ain't ruined it with all this heat and stuff. But maybe I get a good draggy run in. I got a certain number I want to target from the 60 to 130 to compare it, but the car's heavy, so it's going to be sort of hard. I want to get in the mid to 5 highs from the 60 to 130, naturally aspirated on the draggy. So I'm going to need a good cool night, not much weight in the car. Try to get it set up the way it needs to be. And like I would in street trim to see how it compares up to the to other stuff online, you know. But anyways, we got a few things coming for the car. I ordered some TBM brakes almost a month ago. Still waiting on them. As last time I talked to them this morning, still haven't shipped. Don't know what's going on. But that'll be, this is the 401A package car, performance pack car. So it's, like I said, it's pretty heavy. So we actually bought the wrong car to be racing. When we bought this car, we was going to try to do some course racing, but we just hopped right into drag racing with it. So, but anyways, the car has Brembo brakes on the front. It's going to wind up saving us right at 60 pounds of rotational weight, which the rule of thumb they say is every 10 pounds of rotational weight is 100 pounds of like body weight. So 60 pounds would be 600 pounds off the car. Sounds a little crazy, so that's why it's a rule of thumb. So don't know how accurate that is, but I got that off people like Adam LZ and stuff off his content. So I don't know how accurate it is, but we hope it is. Hope it's pretty good, because that's going to help us out a lot. That'd be close between the TBN and that K member I just added. That's 100 pounds saving, so that's good for a 10th. As you see in the last video with the Bowling Green, I was not happy about that run at all. It was just too hot, and we couldn't get the car to hook. They run our class at about late in the evening. You know, they ain't no telling what the temperature of the track was. I should have checked it. But if it's 100, if the track is 100 degrees or more, it's slick. It's slick. We couldn't hook. We couldn't hook for nothing. Our best 60 foot was a 1.7. That's using a trans brake. Foot braking was getting a good 60, about the same. But I got so aggravated, I went up there and I put that joker, I put it on the trans brake, and I just floored it, which went to 5,500. That light turned green. I let go of the paddle. I was just gonna go or blow. I was pretty upset with it, and we just blowed the tires off. So the car needs some suspension, some more suspension. It needs some toe links and some adjustable camber. It needs some of that. So I'll get hold of Dion at BMR and get that worked out. Because right now it's from the factory. It's -2 camber. You know, it's about like that. The car takes off, you launch the car, the camber's more. It might go to a -3. So I need to get a 0. When you get it to 0, that way when the car launches, it might go to -1. We need to get as much patch on the track as we can. That'll help us from spinning. So that's going to be the next thing I invest in. Probably another week or two. You know, let's find some used ones. You may get any used ones, just throw it in the comments or something like that. But that's about all I got for the car right now. It's about time for me to go back to work again. So it won't be no videos for at least a month. You know, after you see this one, we're moving. We sold our house, so we're doing that too. Trying to get as much of that done before I have to go. So, anyways, if you have any questions or anything, just throw them in the comments. Whatever. I try to help out as many people as I can with their suspension. They always send me private messages and stuff, and I get to them as soon as I can. You know, sometimes I might get an alarm, but when I'm at work, it's a little bit harder for me to get to them. I get to them when I can, but you know, I usually try to help people out, because when I started it, nobody wanted to help me out. Nobody. We all get the same parts. Doesn't matter if you're a #1 company or whatever. You might get the parts before us, but we're eventually gonna be able to get the same parts. What sets us apart is the suspension. You know, they got guys, they got gurus that know how to set their suspension up, makes the car run good. Average Joe like us, we don't know that stuff. We don't know this and don't know that. So I made it a point to I can learn as much as I could on the S550 platform, and that puts us in the same wheelhouse, same fight. So if you need help or something like that, hit me up.